Hey, what is going on, guys? So today we're going to be responding to a very intelligent line of reasoning that is spread by the anti-vegan and carnivore community. I always knew it was intelligent, but after trying to debunk it, I realized that it's way more intelligent than I initially thought. We're going to have to use a lot of brain power today to refute this reasoning against vegan diets. So I really want you to prepare yourself cognitively. If you're a caffeine drinker, have a little extra today before watching this video. If you're a vegan, please up your B12 dose. Things are about to get unbelievably comprehensive and deep. This reasoning takes the general form of, because the majority of a particular category of things are bad for you, you should not consume anything within that category of things and instead consume something else. More specifically, carnivores and anti-vegans will point out that the majority of plants are considered poison, so obviously we shouldn't be eating plants. It goes something like that, more or less. Here's a couple instances of people insinuating this.
Because the one thing I learned growing up in a garden, growing up with a horticulturist that was a dad, is this one statement. Most plants hate us. Most plants do not want to be eaten by us. And most plants are poisonous. Most plants in the wild type are poisonous to human beings. That is an absolute fact. Most plants in their natural state are poisonous to human beings. So how the hell come we have to eat a plant-based diet? It doesn't compute.
I've been telling these people, that I eat only meat, and they're like, well, if you eat too much meat, it causes colon cancer, causes this, causes that. And one of the things that I say, and as a talking point that I actually stole from you, is that most plants are inedible, but almost all animals are edible. And when you say that to them, they look at you like, oh, shit. Like, if you just go out and eat, random plants, you'll get sick as That's real. So, when I tell people I eat mostly meat, they look at me like you're doing something really stupid. Like Rob Lowe started laughing at me. I said I have an animal-based diet. Some people are plant-based. I'm animal-based.
I love that word.
Yeah, animal-based. Yeah. Just steal what they're saying.
Make it better.
But what you said, what I've heard you say, that's an accurate way of describing it. Most plants are not edible, but almost every animal is edible.
And here's a tweet thread from everybody's favorite carnivore anti-vegan on Twitter, Sama Hool. He says, foods that are plant-based: sugar, vegetable oils, cocaine, flour, heroin. Plant-based doesn't exactly qualify a food as healthy, but that's where good marketing gets you. And then beans, a vegan responds, foods that are carnivore: poison dart frogs, blister beetle, bear liver. Broad categories can include unhealthy and deadly items. Mind-blowing. He then responds to this saying, let's draft up the number of poisonous animals and poisonous plants. I wonder which stacks higher. And then Bean says, you can do that if it distracts you from posting bullshit on Twitter. Now, I have the next part of Bean's tweet blocked because it does contain the response to this kind of position, and I don't want to just spring it onto you guys so quickly because, again, I need everybody watching to really focus on what is about to be revealed to you. This isn't something you can just casually read and understand. It's some complex shit. Okay, here we go. I hope you're ready. Bean said, personally, I'll just stick to foods we know aren't poisonous. Now, aren't you just mind blown right now? It's almost like an entailment of the majority of a category of things being poisonous means that there is an amount of those things that aren't poisonous. And if you want to consume that category of things, you can avoid the poisonous ones and consume the not poisonous ones. Crazy. I wonder if there's other things that we consume where we're operating the same way. How about water? The majority of water on the planet we live on is undrinkable. Does this mean we should opt for another form of sustenance that isn't water? Or do we understand that we can just drink forms of water that are drinkable and avoid the ones that aren't? This is some seriously deep stuff. Now, what does the data say about people who decide to consume a lot of these non-poisonous plants and their health outcomes? Well, here's the results from 2 prospective cohort studies of US men and women and a meta-analysis of 26 cohort studies. It included 66,719 women from the Nurses' Health Study and 42,016 men from the Health Professionals Follow-Up Study. They found that higher intakes of fruit and vegetables were associated with lower mortality. And this systematic review and dose-response meta-analysis of prospective cohort studies found further evidence that a higher consumption of fruits and vegetables is associated with a lower risk of all-cause mortality, particularly cardiovascular disease mortality. And lastly, another systematic review and dose-response meta-analysis of prospective studies found fruit and vegetable intakes were associated with reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, cancer, and all-cause mortality. So would you look at that? When somebody decides to consume the non-poisonous plant foods, we don't see the results we would expect when somebody consumes poisonous plant foods. We are all collectively shocked. You have to wonder if we lived in a world where the vast majority of animals were considered poisonous at very low doses, but a minority of animals were considered health promoting, if carnivore diet advocates in this world would advocate that we should avoid animal products entirely. Like, let's just imagine there were only 5 animals on the planet. We have humans, so us, cows, which the carnivores eat, and then there's poison dart frogs, cane toads, and pufferfish. There's no other animals on the planet. In this world, the majority of animals are poisonous to consume. Would carnivore dieters who operate under this reasoning say that we should not consume any animals and no longer be carnivore because the majority of animals are poisonous? Probably not, right? All right, guys, well, that's the end of this video. I'm sorry if it was a bit too complex for some, but that's what you gotta do sometimes, face the really hard arguments against your position, and that's what we did today. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you support my work and want to get early access to it, you can click the link in the pinned comment and support me on Patreon, and also get one-on-one messaging with me. And if you don't know, I do have a book going over most, if not all, of the anti-vegan arguments you're gonna hear online. If you want to get that as well, that'll be linked in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Dude,
Fuck off, I don't want anything to do with you. Don't ever speak to me again. You're a fucking piece of shit.
even vegans don't get your weird, stupid wannabe sense of irony here. Who is your audience? Nobody gets these dumb jokes. Dude,